YouTube, we're checking out a historic deck today, one that did pretty well in the most recent League weekend. This is an Emergent Ultimatum deck in Historic, not in Standard. So it is taking the same style of deck that is running around in Standard, but it's using some Historic-only cards in order to get some extra oomph and in order to kind of dunk on some popular Historic decks right now. So, as I said, this is primarily an Emergent Ultimatum deck, so that's what the deck is focused on doing. We have some ramp here to try to get you to 7 mana quickly. There is Golos as well, we'll talk about that a little later. But you're trying to ramp to 7 mana and then deploy your Ultimatum package. So what are the Ultimatum packages here? What are the common combinations of cards? Well, one of them that's going to be an all-star is Omniscience, right? If you choose this and two other things, your opponent's going to be hard-pressed to want to give you Omniscience. If you have any other things left in your hand, you could just start chaining ultimatums or getting extra turns for free, just doing dumb stuff. So Omniscience is one you're going to frequently pick. Another one, of course, is going to be Alrund's Epiphany. If you choose this, you can buy yourself a turn to untap and then maybe cast another ultimatum or use Golos or something. Additionally, there's Final Parting. That's one of the big innovations that Brent made when he was making this deck. So let's just search your library for 2 cards and put one into your hand and one into your graveyard. So you can search for something like Commit, and then you can put Memory in your graveyard and then put your ultimatum in your hand. And depending on what your opponent gave you, like if they gave you Omniscience, you can then just cast whatever was in your hand, or use something to recur the thing that was in your graveyard. Or if you put Commit in your graveyard, you can then cast Memory for 6 without having to cast Commit first, right? And then you'll notice that we're running Narset. So there's some synergy too. By casting Memory from your graveyard, you can draw 7, but your opponent's left with nothing. So as you can probably already see, there's a lot of complexity here, a lot of different thinking you're going to have to do. And we aren't even through the Ultimatum package yet. This is just kind of talking to you about some things you can do with what we've mentioned so far. Well, it's a complicated deck. I'm going to be very upfront about that. The last thing I think you're going to frequently want to choose in your Ultimatum package is Scholar of the Lost Trove. And this synergizes very well with Final Parting because Scholar lets you cast an instant or sorcery from your graveyard. And if you choose from your package, like Omniscience, Scholar, and Final Parting lets you put a busted instant or sorcery into your graveyard. So you can put another Ultimatum in your graveyard, put one in your hand with Final Parting, then you can cast Scholar, and then you can cast the Ultimatum in your graveyard with Scholar, and then you still have one in your hand for next turn, so you kind of get to keep looping. Now, if you use Scholar, then you can copy Scholar with the Sublime Epiphany, so you can then loop it again if you have another creature, or rather another spell in your graveyard. Then we are running some Glasswell Mimics to further copy Scholar. Additionally, I did mention we're running Golos. We have the World Tree, so if you deploy Golos, you grab the World Tree. Now your lands tap for any color of mana if you have 6 lands, which if you're casting Golos, you probably do. And then you can just activate Golos and just start exiling the top 3 cards of your library and casting them if they are, big spells. You can just start winning the game like that. So that is a really quick overview of the deck. Don't be dissuaded, though. I'm going to jump into it and you get a feel for how it plays as you see some games, as you see some iterations, especially if you didn't watch the League weekend. But let's quickly touch on the sideboard and we'll get into the games. So Wall of Blossoms for aggro decks, slowing them down, getting some card advantage, or I guess staying neutral in that sense, but cantripping really. Mystical Dispute for any kind of decks that are running interaction, blue style, Narset. Again, blue style interactive decks like Azorius Control, Dimir Control, cutting off their card draw. Languish, board wipe. Any kind of aggro decks. Shifting Ceratops, more for control. Shadow's Verdict, real good against Sacrifice or even Elves or Goblins. Scarab God, more for recursive decks. Shark Typhoon, control. Bot Distortion, any kind of controlling deck you want to side this in. And then Overwhelming Splendor, kind of Sacrifice, or maybe even Goblins or something like that, just to stop Muxus from going off. And that's the deck. Let's see what it plays. Opponent took a mulligan, we don't know what they're on, they have no companions, so that could be an aggro deck. This hand doesn't really do much. We get Narset, but I'm real conflicted here. I think we keep it just because my opponent's taking a mulligan. Otherwise, it might be too greedy. We're going to have to hope that they have a little bit of a stumble here. Actually, Mold a 5. Play a Murkwater Pathway. If Bot sees me 2-1. almost indefinitely taking Narset. Well, I guess they could just take Golos if they maybe have an answer for Narset or something, like a negate they might have in their hand. If this is Dimir control though and they mold the 5, that's probably going to be good for me because they're going to have minimal resources, and in a long game then we should be able to maybe get a banger off, just resolve an ultimatum, win the game. But we'll see. They could have also, have kept a hand with a tome in it, Maze Mind Tome or something, and they could kind of recoup some of that mulling that they had to do. And we can't. Well, I guess if we get the Narset down, they can't do that on their turn. But they could do it on mine. They could, draw a card on my turn, draw a card on their turn. They get the Scholar. Interesting. So we still have, like, commit to memory to get that back if we need to. Shuffle the graveyard back in. Not really worried about my life total here, so I'm not going to just run out the breeding pool. Just trying to minimize the amount of information that they have at their disposal. Yeah, well, there's commit. Let's run out Narset. Can't wait. Gonna have to just lay it out. Okay, well, it resolves. Pretty good. Gonna -2 here. Take Cultivate over Omniscience. We'd rather have Omniscience in the deck so we can cast it for free with Ultimatum if we get that opportunity. So it's interesting that they didn't do anything there. I almost think they have a Shark Typhoon. Okay, so we could -2 and keep up commit. That way we deal with any kind of shark that they might make. Or we play Cultivate. If we play Cultivate, we get to ramp a turns. We're playing Ultimatum in 2 turns instead of in 3. I think it's better just to -2 here. Keep up commit. Want the Epiphany, the Explore. If we explore now, we can then play Cultivate. Yeah, that's kind of heads up. Okay, they actually don't have a stop, so it almost seems like that they don't even have the Shark Typhoon token. So I think just whatever I pick here I can cast. Ultimatum. Thoughtseize. Take the Ultimatum. Sure. Play an island. Play Golos. Suspend Epiphany, so they can't Thoughtseize it. And get the World Tree here, that's the trick with Golos. So it turns all your lands into lands with any color, or lands that can produce any color, rather. And then you get to activate Golos on a subsequent turn. So the deck has a lot of little synergies going on. You got like the commit to memory package that you can get up with Final Parting. You have get Narset and then commit to memory. You've got Golos kind of just doing its thing, getting free spells. Opponent bolted in their Watery Grave. I guess on the one hand I'm not really presenting much pressure, but on the other, that does put you lower in life, of course. Curious what they're up to. I think we just activate Golos. And attack if we want. Okay. Omniscience is a card. Yeah, I think I'll try playing that. Okay. So now we have counter magic up for free. Like Cultivate. Get lands out of the deck. I guess if they had some kind of a bounce effect, I should have instead played Final Parting first. But... okay, so we have Omniscience, we have a Suspended, or a Foretold Epiphany. They also have... I guess we can commit free. They draw on the lock, we'll commit the Drown in the lock. I have to spend more resources, and we get the memory in the graveyard. So next turn we can cast it and draw a bunch of cards. So what do we want here in the graveyard? So we did lose the Scholar, so we can't recur things from the graveyard right now. So we definitely want an Epiphany. I think we cast the Epiphany, get an extra turn, commit, or they play Memory. I guess it doesn't matter what to pick for the second card, because I'm just going to be playing Memory. Put a card into my hand, want the Epiphany. I have another Drown Lock, interesting. So that doesn't mean I have an Epiphany in the graveyard. And Omniscience on the board. Extinction Event in hand. Okay, so Sublime Epiphany, that's huge. Another free counter spell now. So I guess what we do is hit them. Go to 8. Yeah, I guess we just hit them and then we play Epiphany. Because we're 1 mana short of casting Epiphany into Memory. We have 11, we need 12. And you already played a land this turn. Yep, okay. We'll just play Epiphany. Like I said, we have Sublime Epiphany on this. Okay, there's 2 Epiphanies. I gotta clarify. I gotta be more specific here. I don't have any utility lands, so nothing to do end a turn. Maybe find a Growth Spiral, we'll just play that. Oh, actually pay the cost. Not that it matters. Okay, I gotta make sure I hit the alternate cost button, not the pay full cost button. Bit of a shark here, but they don't. Okay, so we have this Memory. They'll lose their hand. Play Zareth Sand. We'll counter that. Counter target spell. Okay, they've had enough. Got their game 1 against Dimir Rogues, or I guess Dimir Control rather, but game 2 I imagine it's going to be much trickier. So we'll probably want some Thought Distortions. We take out some of the board wipe stuff, some of the Tyrant Scorn stuff. Put in some more Mystical Disputes, another Narset. Shark Typhoon could be worthwhile as well. We take out an Epiphany because it's just kind of a big, easy to see coming target. I guess like they're probably going to remove their removal, or at least some of it. So the Gargaroth could still be a good way to just clinch the game. Yeah, I think that's decent. Okay, 1 lander. I don't think we can keep it. This looks better. Thought Distortion, Ultimatum. Keep 6, and it's a question of what we send back. So I can't actually currently cast Narset. The Ultimatum is the most expensive card, of course. Thought Distortion, I think, is just going to be real great if we can cast it. Just getting rid of their whole hand against a control deck is what you want to be doing. I guess we'll send back the Ultimatum in the hopes that Narset can find more action. Oh, okay, the Thought's using, so it's up to me. Okay, they snipe the Narset. Find a Growth Spiral, so some ramp action going on. If we go Woodland Cemetery next turn and then play Growth Spiral. Opponent plays Una's black card. Interesting. Not what I expected. Maybe they're rogues after all. I guess I'll just pass here. They have a blue rogue. Wouldn't mind countering it. But it just hit me. Doesn't have a counter, right? So nothing happens. So I just take a damage. They do the Zerath, so if they get to 4 mana, I have to be careful of them like ninjutsuing me. Opponent doesn't have blue mana though. They play Thieves Guild Enforcer. I guess that's fine. And then Epiphany. Two Growth Spirals. That's something. We should have it enter tapped here, pass the turn. I have Mystical Dispute, counter whatever they play. You do have 3 mana now. I have to pitch a card. That is sad. Thieves Guild Enforcer is annoying. I guess Mystical Dispute. I guess they'll play something now, but if they play something now, we get to Elder Gargoth. Founding Conundrum. Okay. On land. No. Ah! So bad. What about the least castable card in this situation? I'll pitch the Omniscience, no doubt. I think they have a counter spell. They do, they have a dispute, okay. So my one window to get the Gargoth down is gone. It's a shame. Try to cast it, get some blockers. They have a counter, it's over. Okay, they have another dispute. So there's really nothing I can get here on 6 mana that's going to save me. If I had been on 7, I could have gotten something, but alas, we lose game number 2. They kind of went for a more aggressive bent there. I wonder if they're going to switch back to the more control-y style on the draw. I'm looking at those shifting Ceratops and I'm wondering if I should be bringing them in here. They're protected from blue, so they're going to dodge, drown in the lock. They can't be countered, so they also dodge, drown in the lock coming down. That could be spicy. Maybe replace the Gargaroth, the Ceratops, maybe pop in another one as well. Bit of a Shark Typhoon. I'll have to try that. I guess it's bad against the Thieves Guild Enforcer if it gets Death Touch, but until then, we'll be okay. This looks okay. They have a Thoughtseize T1, it's going to be rough, but if they don't, maybe we can Growth Spiral, get the mana rocking. Come on, Joe, what do you got? Like, that's the thing I found with this deck too. Like, game 1 tends to go real well, but then game 2 and 3 tend to be much tougher when your opponent starts bringing in counter spells, or they just go all out in terms of taking out their removal and just going full aggro on you. And it could just be that I'm not sideboarding aggressively enough for, you know, not trimming the fat that someone like LSV would have. And that could maybe hold me back, but it's a fun deck. Even losing, it's makes a lot of brain power to find all the lines and make sure you're not making a mistake. Opponent did mulligan though, so they're going to be on 6. We find an ultimatum. Okay. Play a forest. We'll just growth spiral now. Can play Castle Vantress, I guess. Keep up Mystical Dispute. Then we have a bunch of lands. Okay, opponent doesn't do anything. Play the Triome. Pass the turn. They have nothing to do either, so no rogues to flash in, it seems. Keep ramping here. Epiphany, that's something. Okay, we're gonna bolt in that land. We're gonna try to land Golos here. That could get us to our 7th land, or our ultimatum. Opponent Mystical Disputes. We have a Mystical Dispute in return. We're disputing that call. We are getting our World Tree. It is happening, and I have never been happier in my life that Golos was cardless than just that moment. Making them pay for the full tax on their dispute was fabulous. Okay, Ceratops is nice. I think we'll lead with Cultivate. We can actually play Ceratops this turn and have it get haste, and so we can start slamming. Yeah, Narset. Counter Narset. Okay. Play Ceratops. Give it haste. Swing for 8th. Next turn we have Ultimatum. We also have Epiphany up if we want. If they don't deal with Golos, we can just activate Golos again. Start spinning the top again. So, okay, opponent, they kill Golos. We have 6 cards in my graveyard exactly. I think here we just go for Ultimatum. Drowning Lock doesn't get it. Mystical Dispute doesn't get it. They need like another negate. Okay, well, they have another negate. They have to deal with the Ceratops somehow. Into the story, draw 4. Yeah, that's fine. You can copy Ceratops next turn. I think you end up mana up to counter a Mystical Dispute. So I think we get there. I think they have the Mystical Dispute, but look at that, they have the stop. Okay. Yeah, we should have enough, right? Should have like 5 left over. Can't cast Omniscience. Oh, it's got protection from blue thwarts me. So let's go to combat. Swing 5 at my opponent. I opt. That's okay. They somehow find a kill spell. We will counter it with Epiphany, or try to anyway. And then we can try to get Omniscience, because they're probably not enough mana to do anything else. Late into the story. I guess we'll let it happen. They do have a 2 mana kill spell. I'd rather just save the Epiphany for that. They could have like a Heartless Act or something. With Thoughtseize, we will Epiphany that. Because I don't think there's any... I guess... I was going to say they could have Fatal Push, but they would have had to have had a permanent leave the battlefield for that to hit Ceratops. If they haven't had this turn, they didn't crack a Fable Passage or anything. So that doesn't get rid of the Ceratops. They'd have to kick a Bloodchief's Thirst to kill it. I think... Will they play Thoughtseize? Oh, they're trying to kill themselves. I guess I should have let it happen. I was too focused on protecting my Ceratops. Okay. Take a game against a kind of Dimir control list that pivoted game 2, but we pivoted back in game 3. Brought down the Ceratops, and it was good. It was interesting that it was a kind of a non-bow with the Sublime Epiphany. But there are a lot of Epiphanies in that deck. You got Alrins, you got the Sublime. It is... oh boy. Got a mighty opponent against us now, Dingo Bongus. The venerable Dingo Bongus. The storied Dingo Bongus. Now this hand, if we get another blue source or a green source, it kind of comes alive, does pretty well. I think that was probably a mulligan. Green's only 30%. Blue is 26. My opponent does go first though. So we do got a couple of chances there. So we'd expect to draw one of the two. Green or blue, a source. His opening turns. Okay, we're gonna be greedy. We're gonna try to keep it. Could very well be wrong. Okay, there's an Explorer. Opponent has something they can do on T1. Might be a Shock or a Storm or something. Not a Storm, I don't know. Magma Spray can only hit creatures, I think, right? So it can't be a Magma Spray. Okay, they play a Summit, they play a Priest, so... okay, looks like it's probably Sacrifice. Okay, we're about to get punished hard here by not drawing another land. Collagen familiar? Okay. Rakdos sack or something. Play an oven, sure. Okay. Never didn't have it. I guess we explore with the black mana. Never punished. Okay. So the Elder Gargaroth's gonna be kind of bad right now. Because we only have a single creature, and if they get another creature, they can make us sack it. That's not great. Name Devil? Okay, that's a good one. For one. Okay. Doing a lot of damage to ourselves here. Not too big a fan of that. But I guess if we can get... we could get to casting an Ultimatum or something, we should be able to win. Just snagging a Shadow's Verdict or something. Did someone say Shadow's Verdict? Play this now. And this into like tapped. So I think if we can survive this next turn cycle, we have a shot, but that's going to be tough. We're going to take 4 from attack, so we go to 8. They can eat the familiar, and that's another 2 damage, so 6. They could theoretically sack. I guess it's 3 damage from the ETB trigger. Okay, so that's 7. Okay, 9. Yeah, I think we're dead. Slightly too aggressive maybe with this shocking in, but let's see. Midnight Reaper. Okay, yeah, we're definitely dead. 200% dead. That Shadow's Verdict a turn earlier might have had something different, but we didn't, so here we are. Okay, so the Tyrant Scorn's going to be decent, I think. Gargaroth's going to be, I think, actively bad just because they have ways to make us sacrifice it. One more card to cut at least. Narset stops their Midnight Reaper. I guess we got an Epiphany just because it's top end and kind of slow. And I think the Scarab God's more for, more for the like Rakdos Arcanist deck. Okay, let's see if we can come back against Dingo here. We have board wipes, but no black mana or green mana. The odds aren't that great of getting an island. I think I'll null. This looks better. We have Explore, we have Golos, Commit. Send back a Forest. Send back Commit. I think we send back the Forest because Commit can help me draw like a ton of cards if I get a Narset. And it can help disrupt them if they were trying to get a Mayhem Devil on the board. I'm gonna place Gutterbones, sure. Play a Forest, go Explore. Play the Tomb tapped. Next turn we have Commit up, I guess. We go Commit, Golos. That gets us to land 7 on turn 5. And we can just activate Golos. And they might not have a way to deal with Golos. They could have like Active Treason. That's one way they could have or could deal with him. Or they could have a Priest activate, make me sacrifice a creature, and now we get rid of Golos. But we'll have to see here. Okay, they have an Oven, not a Priest. So that's helpful. Play another Gutter Bones. Okay, they're going aggro. Looks like. Play an Island, pass the turn. Probably just going to be committing whatever they play as a 2 or 3 mana play here. Could also see the line of committing a Gutterbones in case they play a Priest. But I think we just take the 4 here. Take the 4 right now, see what they got. Okay, so they have land 3. It's gonna be Midnight Reaper. Yeah, we'll just commit that. Okay, we'll play a Swamp, play Golos. Get the World Tree. Next turn we activate. And pray that we get a good hit. Okay, so I'm trying to think here. If they attack with both, do we block? I guess we just don't block. Well, okay, so a Braid would just kill Golos outright, so they wouldn't need to bait me into an attack, they would just kill it now. Or bait me into a block. If they have a Mayhem Devil, and they play that, and then they have a cat, they would get Golos. I think Golos is just too high priority to risk blocking here. We have to just hope we get a good hit on Golos. And if we do, then they don't have counter magic, so we should just carry the game. If we don't, okay, they have a Woe Strider. Okay. Still a bit scary. They had a cat. But they have a cat at least. Well, here we go. Golos. Believe in you, bro. Okay, we got the Ultimatum. So now is going to be the trick of picking the right cards. Okay, so this is the hardest part of playing this deck. So we don't want Omniscience, I don't think. We could play, or pick Shadow's Verdict. And then Scholar plus Final Parting. I think that's the play. So, Shadow's Verdict. Okay, well, if we pick this, let me have Scholar and Shadow's Verdict. We don't really get much, right, from the graveyard. I think that's not the play. Maybe Shadows isn't, or Scholar isn't the pick. Maybe it's really Epiphany. I think it's these three. LSU might disagree, but you know, it's a tough deck to pilot. It's a lot of interworkings, a lot of combos, a lot of lines you can take depending on the board state, what your opponent's up to. The good thing is they only have one card in their hand, so they okay. Ooh, so they conceded that. All right, that's nice. That's nice, but next game is still gonna be tough, no doubt. We might want to bring in some of these Walls of Blossoms because they seem to be kind of going more just all-out aggro. It's hard to take out these cards that are like your kind of win conditions. Feels bad. I also feel like Extinction Event isn't even that great against them because they have all those sacrifice outlets. I mean, it can force them to wipe their board, but oftentimes they're just going to sack this up the Gutter Bones and get incidental value of, you know, pinging you. So maybe just getting that extra wall is going to be beneficial. Just something to block those Gutter Bones and give me another card. Okay, on to game 3. Okay. Wouldn't mulligan, but we have a Tyrant Scorn. We can deploy on T2. They have something scary. Bolt in Blood Crypt, Call Your Familiar, T1. Okay, we have a nice T3 play now. Cultivate, making sure we get to land number 5 for Golos. And then we can kind of just keep going. This is not looking too bad. But remains to be seen what my opponent's going to do. They could throw down like a, forgetting the name of it, the 1/1 with haste. When it hits someone, you get the +1/+1 counter. It escapes me right now. Or they could play a priest of the Forgotten Gods. Yeah, they go to combat, they for 1. We'll just play an oven. Okay, they play a priest. Sure, we're gonna play a swamp. I don't think this deck is gonna be running village rights, so I don't know that I really have to focus on playing around that. You know, killing their priest before they get to sacrifice it. I think I'll just kill it in response to them playing another creature, because that's gonna potentially affect their decision making, so we'll just deny them that piece of information that they're not gonna have a priest in just a little bit. Okay. They have reminded me what that card is. Red Horde Butcher. So Priest is even. Red Horde is even. I think we just Tyrant Scorn though. Where they gets out of control. They can sack their cat too if they want. But now they're gonna like not get to spend the 2 mana that they would get if they sack both creatures. It was kind of wasted in that front. Wasted in that sense. I still do take 3 damage, but I would take 1 damage from the cat anyway. Okay. They opt to deal the damage, draw the card now. It's fine. And they can't use the mana, presumably. Let's say they have an instant 2 black. Oh, they are playing Village Rites. Interesting. Can they play a land? So we'll play Cultivate. That's what we got to do here. Could have argued I should have gotten a black source so I could have cast Extinction Event, or rather Shadow's Verdict, if we were to draw one. So if we do resolve Golos, I don't think it'll matter. Okay, opponent plays an Oven. Okay, Low Strider. Okay, well there's the Shadow's Verdict. We just play Golos. Like I said, we just get the World Tree. If that would have gotten Thoughtseize, we kind of would have been in a precarious spot. But now we actually have our mana always great, so long as they don't destroy the World Tree. But I can't fathom. I guess they could be running some kind of a like Field of Ruin or something. Not out of the realm of possibilities. Yeah, they do sack their goat though to the Oven, and they get the food thing kind of rocking and rolling. But I think we're in a great spot. We have like Golos they have to worry about. If we get to 7 mana, we can just cast an Ultimatum and probably just win on the spot. We have Shadow's Verdict if they kill Golos or something. Play Roiling Vortex. Okay, that we have to be careful of that. That is gonna mean it's gonna deal 5 damage when we cast our spells. I think we just Shadow's Verdict. Start hitting them with Golos. Yep, they get to eke out their value. And probably sack the familiars. Some scrying. Bottom one, that's nice. Bottom two, nice. And we get rid of their whole graveyard more or less. And their cats, and we hit them for 3. Next turn we probably just want to keep up Epiphany. Okay, they have another Wolf Strider. So we can attack here, like Cultivate here, kind of go slow. They're probably going to win the long race, though, if they ever go to cat again. I am at lower life, so I have to be the aggressor here, because I don't really have a way to deal with a Whirling Vortex. And I don't think I have a way to deal with... or way to gain life, anyway. Well, I guess I can Epiphany... Okay, yeah, so I can use Epiphany to bounce the Vortex and get a turn off with that. So I guess what we do is play Cultivate and set up to make sure we get to 7 mana. Play this, pass the turn. Okay, so they sack their goat. See if they scry. On bottom again? Okay. I like to see. We need to keep going here. Midnight Reaper. Okay. If they attack here with the Ghost Rider. They have no cards in hand now. The damage. A Catacomb. We do this. We still have Epiphany mana. Doing this saves me 3 life, basically, right? Yeah, I'll just do it. And if they go to get full value, we can just pick even. Because they'd sacrifice both of their creatures, and then we wouldn't need to do anything about it. Okay, they go for half value, I guess. We'll choose odd. Or could choose even. Do we really care? I think we don't. Golos can be just another thing we can do off of the Ultimatum. If we get extra turns, we can just start casting stuff again for free. So they don't have enough cards in the graveyard to get back Ghost Rider. Play Dreadhorde Butcher, they could attack with it, try to bait me into blocking or something. I mean, not bait, but trade it for a card. Right. Okay, so they're playing another land. Okay, so we're going to Epiphany. Bounce the Vortex. We're gonna copy Golos. We're gonna have ourselves draw a card. Okay, it's like the one card that could have gotten out of the Whirling Vortex lock. They're gonna accept. Last time they conceded when I cast the Ultimatum, so I have to think that they're gonna do the same here, but we should think about which combination we want. Wish to keep the real one. Get the trigger though. Get a land. Vantress can be helpful for having us find stuff after we get like Omniscience on the board. We don't need to use our mana for spells. Play Emergent Ultimatum. Okay, so Final Parting, Omniscience, Scholar. I guess Epiphany. Tough calls. Epiphany, Omniscience, Final Parting. I think that's the combination. Get Omniscience, we can just cast Ultimatum again. If they don't give us Omniscience, we get to take an extra turn. And then cast the other Ultimatum again. Then give us Final Parting, we get to just Ultimate again anyway on our extra turn with Omniscience out. And then we can just use Golos again. Commit, Narset. Final Parting. Okay. We beat Dingus. Dingo Bongus, excuse me. Oof, in a close game. Oh man. Yeah, see, deck is wild. It is a lot of fun, and I hope you enjoy playing it in the last couple of days before the Mystical Archive cards come out and shake up Historic. I know it was a lot of fun for me, so I hope you enjoy it, and I will see you next time.